Good morning. It's Memorial Day 2023, May 29th, 2023. Camping up at Coal Hill State Forest. Yeah, about 15 miles actually from where I live, which is nice. It's going to be a 22-minute drive back home. Camping about 6 miles or 6/10 of a mile away from where I'm parked on Coal Hill Road. Absolutely beautiful morning. It's been a great weekend. The weather couldn't be more perfect. Warm, but not hot. And up here on the ridge here, which this campsite is right on the ridge, as you can see, we're actually looking on down into the valley where East Burn is below. I'll see if I can take you to see a little bit of the ridge here. But yeah, you can see, look at those trees, that's where the ridge is. And that drops down to East Burn down there. This is the summit edge of Coal Hill. Actually, the forest ranger stopped by on Saturday, and I asked him to make sure this was actually a legitimate site far enough from the road, because I measured it was about 200 feet, but I just wanted to question him, because you can see not the road but the truck trail back here from the site. The truck trail is now gated. They put a gate up on the road. There's been a lot of problems with dumping back here, unfortunately. Not so much dumping, but people who are, they bring things up here to shoot. Things like TV sets, old volleyballs, There was an old filing cabinet, and I have no problem with people shooting him. It's actually a good, safe place at the base of this hill or the base of this ridge to do shooting, but you really shouldn't be leaving your garbage behind after you've blown holes in it. But yeah, so they did gate it, so it's actually nice you don't see traffic come back here. I mean, the forest ranger had a key, and he actually was driving around here. I think he just wanted to check to make sure no one was trashing this area up here, which I was surprised. You almost never see forest rangers at this part of this unit here of the Albany County, Schoharie County, because there's just so many state forests. And this actually extends down to like Huntersfield Mountain. I think it's also in the same unit. It used to be Tom Edmonds' ranger unit, but then he moved up to Vermontville, and then he died, and now I guess it's I don't know if it's Tony Riddell or whatever his first name is. And he stopped by. He was really friendly. He said, "Yeah, it's a nice site." Apparently, I checked the site out years ago, and had it on my list. But I'm not all that much of a backpacker. I do sometimes, but yeah, it's great. Nice grassy area. It's grown up more along the ridge years ago. You could actually see off this ridge pretty good after they'd done the timbering. But now it's grown up, but still it's nice kind of grassy. I don't know, thinned out forest with a lot of ash trees up above it, which you might see in a lot of the northern Catskills. Very quiet. I think the only other person I saw all weekend was there were some dog walkers on Saturday, but other than that, I haven't seen a single other person up here. And it's Memorial Day weekend, so that's kind of amazing on those grounds too. But yeah, I keep all my food down the truck, and I just would run down there and got it when I needed, and I could then keep my battery charger charged for the phone, so I could bring that back and forth. And I didn't bring a stove up here or my lantern or anything. I just used candles for light. This time of year, the sun doesn't really get dark out till after 9, and it's bright out by 4:30 in the morning, so there really isn't that much of a need for light. And I did actually bring my hammock tent, which I actually bought last week just for this camping trip, and it turns out I didn't need it because there weren't really no bugs at night, and there's a few black flies around in the daytime, but beyond the ridge here it's super windy, or at least it can be kind of breezy, and that really seems to control the black flies really nicely. But yeah, it's been great up here. I can't say any worse weather. I was disappointed I didn't get up the Adirondacks or the Greens this weekend, but I thought Saturday I was going to be busy with work, and then I wanted to work on my bike, which I've been having a lot of trouble getting those spokes back on and back in order correctly. I was going to take it to the bike shop. I actually did take it to Down Tube. They gave me a good, serious evaluation. They went through everything, and they basically pointed out everything that was wrong. It wouldn't be worth doing a full restoration, but they did suggest if I wanted to get that bike up and running to go to the Capital Region Bike Rescue, and go sit in on one of their learning sessions. They'll help you apparently figure it out. I know one of my friends from Save the Pine Bush used to be very involved with their group for a long time, and it's a great way to get bikes that are kind of beat up like mine back on the road. There's the issue. It's going to be it's on Tuesday night, so I'm not going to be able to deal with it for another, at least 3 more weeks. But I might also look at some used bikes too. They had some really nice Trek bikes at Downtube, as you might guess, and they're beautiful. Perfect bikes. But with the destination charge, the price, and sales tax, you're looking at $800 for them for a bike, and the thing looked like it was brand shiny new bike like that. If I would take it back and forth to work, it's not going to be there one day when I come home from or leave from work, even if I bolted up well to the bike rack, because you know how all those homeless people in downtown Albany always have the shiniest, newest bikes. They don't have a place to live, but they're able to get nice bikes. So you can only guess where they probably come from. But yeah. So I just want a bike that's reliable, and I'm thinking I get my bike still back up on the road. But like, there's the issue is that the suspension's fork. I have one of those hybrid bikes that were really popular in about the early 2000s. They have kind of some of the sporty mountain bike features, but they're not a mountain bike. But they're also not really a road bike. And it was supposed to be good for on gravel and dirt and light mountain biking. With the broken spokes issues I've always had, I've had to have numerous spokes replaced and the wheel replaced. It's not been a very good, reliable bike. And then with them pointing out the issue with the suspension being seized like that, I can see. I'm annoyed that I spent $500 20 years ago on the bike when that was real money. It's from Downtube to have the bike needing to be replaced now just because I haven't ridden in a while because of all the mechanical issues I have with the spokes. And they insisted down to the new bike, so they don't have those kind of problems. They're much better. That was 20 years ago. I tell you, don't believe that. So I'm thinking I want to look at maybe a used bike, or maybe I could try to get this bike restored. Maybe I'll have to get a used bike plus get it restored. I mean, it's not a money thing for me as much because, this day and age, I make good money, and, but I don't want to spend it all on a bike, especially if something gets stolen. But I do want a reliable ride, at least by July, because I want to have it for summer vacation. I want to have it by mid-July so I can start commuting back and forth on the bike. And then also when I'm camping, it'd be great if I just, I'd really like to be able to park my truck and just leave the truck charging in the solar and not burning gas, putting miles on it when I could be out riding. But back to camp. It's been great. I've been just doing some reading, hanging out. I walked about, I think it was 10 miles yesterday. I hiked all the perimeter roads around Coal Hill State Forest. There's not a lot of other things to do here. I mean, there's just some swamps and, just truck trails, and the long path goes through here. But then the long path on both sides of here, it's like 2-3 miles of blacktop road in both directions. It's not mostly through the woods, which means, it's fine to walk along the roads, and I certainly do that, but it isn't as interesting as going for, even you can drive it. I'd rather be in the more remote country. Well, I want to continue taking down camp. I actually brought some of my gear down when I had breakfast. And I've already started to pick things up because I don't have to deal with that later on. And yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do next weekend. I do plan to actually truck camp next weekend. I kind of have tentatively penned in Schoharie County, Burnt Rossman, maybe Rensselaerville State Forest. I don't want to go so far because I just out camping this week. Or I am starting to think more about the Adirondacks. It wouldn't be bad to go up to Stewart Landing and then kayak all day on Saturday. Maybe go for a swim in the lake and, camp up that little camping area up there. Although it's a little more crowded up that way than I like. So maybe not. I'm not, fully decided on that. But and it's a pretty good drive. Especially because I'm still thinking Juneteenth weekend, heading up to Pico Pally and having a big, thinking 4 nights up there, 4 or 5 nights. But it'll be like 3 in one campsite, and then the other 2 up in either Pally Place or even farther up the truck trail up there. Just so I don't have to get a camping permit and to break it up, because I don't really like staying more than a couple nights at a campsite, even when I can, just because it gets boring and I want to change things up, and I don't have to get a permit to camp, so I probably won't do that. But yeah, it's been great. This trip came out nicer than I thought it would be. Kind of came together at the last minute because I've just been so busy with work, and I had some work to do on Saturday morning and Friday night. But I got it done, and it's been quiet since then. I didn't even bring my laptop with me. And I have cell service up here so I can stream video and so forth. Well, have a great Memorial Day weekend. Stay safe, and we'll probably touch back with you on Monday.